man, this technology, boy, you can. Okay. I'm gonna do myself.
Okay. So y'all might as well get ready and it's probably gonna be
Okay.
So what's the show about tonight?
The show we're gonna do tonight is gonna be we're gonna do workers' comp tonight.
That's where, you know, when you are in and about the duties of your employer.
Mm-hmm.
Now that can be kind of tricky too.
It is. It normally is very tricky.
Yes.
I mean, and that's really, you know, you hit it on the head. I mean, it is not just tricky. I mean, it's extremely tricky.
Extremely tricky, yeah. And and it's really not something that you can get in one of those books that you get off of the shelf over there at Home Depot,
Yeah, they
Costco's or something.
Yeah, ain't no Home Depot.
No, you're not going to be able to navigate through a workers' comp situation. So you're really beating yourself in the head by not seeking some legal counsel for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unforgiving too. If you don't do it like it should be done, you can lose your rights forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right, fellas, y'all ready to get started?
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Yep.
Here we go. Y'all want to adjust this just a little bit there. All right.
Live.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Talking Law with Darrell O'Neill. I'm your host. I got my main man with me, Jerome Payne.
What's up, Darrell?
I mean, we back on the team spot again.
Hey,
I mean,
hey.
It's been a while, man. I mean, we've had some dynamics.
Yeah.
You know, you hung out with my daughter.
Yeah.
I hung out with my daughter.
Yeah.
You hung out with my daughter. So we've.
Well, you know, life is ongoing, and people have ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to get back in the saddle.
Oh,
isn't it?
no doubt, no doubt. So we want to say welcome to Facebook.
That's right.
You guys get this show live. And the benefit of getting this show live, and we make jokes about this all the time,
Right.
but the benefit about getting this show live is that you can actually pick the phone up, and I'll get Miss McClendon to put that number on it, but you can pick the phone up and call us, and we'll answer your question.
Right.
On the air. I mean, it doesn't matter what question you have, what you want to talk about, we'll answer any of those questions.
Yes.
Today's show, we're going to talk about, you know, primarily workers' comp and the pitfalls in workers' comp. But we're not limited.
Right. But Darrell, you forgot to do the shout outs.
Oh, no. I was just giving them an intro of what we're going to talk about.
But we can't ever forget our shout outs.
Yeah. So we want to say welcome to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yes.
We want to say welcome to West Memphis, Arkansas. We want to say welcome to Shelby County.
That's right.
We want to say welcome to Mississippi. And we always going to say welcome to my mom. Welcome to the great state of Missouri. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, and there are also our hearts and prayers are with the people in Collierville.
Yeah.
From that tragedy that occurred on yesterday.
Yeah, I mean it's sad.
It's a whole different world we live in now.
It is. It is. And that's another reason why, we'll talk about this workers' comp.
That's right.
And then also talk about, probably a few years ago, workers' comp, there was a time that workers' comp, and I'm going to tell you guys more about it.
Yeah.
But there was a time, man, workers' comp didn't cover psychological issues.
That's exactly right.
And so those people that are in Collierville, I wouldn't say that's a lucky thing, but they're in a neighborhood now where they can actually receive some benefits through the workers' compensation law that was not available before.
That's exactly right, Darrell. And it's measured and it's timely. The fact that you've gone through a tragedy such as that while you were in the business of your employer, it does give you a right to seek compensation.
Right.
Many of those people are going to be dramatically affected for life.
Well, I mean, and this is where people always get it wrong. It is really never as much about the compensation. I mean, everybody wants to talk about that. But what it really
way
is
down
about
the road.
is the medical benefits that you may or may not get had you not been entitled to that law.
That's exactly right. And most of all, it's the healing phase.
Yeah.
It's the counseling. It's the care that the law provides for a person who's gone through a traumatic situation.
Yeah.
PTSD, that's probably going to be a part of it too. But you have to be careful how you navigate it, and that's why this show is important tonight, Darrell.
It is, Jerome. I mean, it's so let's talk about what workers' compensation is.
Okay.
So workers' compensation, or it used to be called workmen's comp.
Okay.
And then over the years, what they've done is got politically correct, and they just call it workers' compensation.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to, talk between men and women.
That's
so
right.
They just made it workers' compensation. Workers' compensation basically covers people that are injured on the job.
Right.
Now, in most states, what that means is if you're working within the normal scope of your employment, and you get injured, then the employer will cover it. And it doesn't matter, say for instance, if I'm walking on, I'm at work right now,
Right.
and I walk off this stage and I slip and I fall and I break my leg. Well, workers' comp covers that.
That's right.
Now, if I had a personal injury matter and I was walking off the stage and I fell and broke my leg, there's a possibility that it may not be covered.
That's exactly right.
Because the question becomes notice.
Right.
So there are no pitfalls in the workers' compensation law if you get injured. I like that. There's always pitfalls.
Right.
But you don't have to worry about the little ticky thing.
And there, I just thought about that too, because in personal injury law, there's something called assumption of the risk.
Right.
I mean, that's a kind of little high step there.
Yeah.
And you know that the step is there.
Yeah.
And then you take it upon yourself to believe that you can navigate it, and your foot is caught on that other little rim. You may not be entitled to a personal injury claim.
Right, exactly.
But if you are out of and the course of your employment, it changes the dynamics, doesn't it, Darrell?
It really does. And look, the real reason why, so how workers' compensation really works itself out is, the law says the employer, if the employer accepts workers' compensation as his insurance to cover his employee, it tells, what that means is that the employee can't sue the employer if the employer is negligent.
It shields them
it protects
from a
them.
massive
It protects
lawsuit.
them from a massive lawsuit.
That's right.
But at the same token, it protects the employee from a massive mistake.
That's right.
So workers' compensation doesn't care about fault.
Right.
Like a personal injury or a medical mal case. Workers' comp doesn't care about that.
That's right.
So, you walk and you slip and fall and you get injured, even if it's your own fault, workers' compensation will cover that.
That's right.
On the other hand, there are times that workers' compensation will not cover you. And most people don't realize
Well, it depends on if you've gone outside of the scope of your employment. Is that what you mean, Darrell?
Well, that's a little hard.
Or what? When is it not covered? That's interesting.
Yeah. Most people don't know. Workers' compensation will not cover you if you are under the influence.
Oh.
So if so I don't. Most people don't realize as soon as you get injured at work, right? The first thing that the employer does is send you for a drug test.
They immediately cut you off to their they're a doctor or they're a medical facility, and that's the first thing they're going to do.
Right.
You can't even refuse that.
You cannot refuse
that drug test.
Yeah, because it'll disqualify your benefit.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is, if you have alcohol or drugs in your system, that is the only time right off the bat.
Well, Darrell, let's look at that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I may have alcohol in my system, but not necessarily have just because I got it in my system, does that mean that I'm automatically disqualified? Or does it have to reach a certain point?
You know,
that's the issue. Because it could be that I have a job where we can maybe have a cocktail at lunch or something like that, and still come back and not be inebriated. That's the issue there. And so,
that's a really tough question, Jerome. Here's the way I understand the rule to be: if you have alcohol in your system or drugs in your system,
it could be over from last night.
If you got alcohol in your system,
I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine it being. What we call it?
Under the influence.
No, it's something that happens when there is no way you can get out of it. What we call that, Darrell? I lost it right. I can't think of it right now.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
But see, here's the difference.
Okay.
The alcohol laws say that if you have alcohol in your system above a certain limit, you can't drive.
Right.
There is no law that says if you have alcohol in your system over a certain limit, you can't work. So there's not an over limit for not working. Most employers, just like drugs, so what ends up happening is, for the drug test, they go through what they call the DOT standard.
Okay.
And the DOT standard says if you have 50 nanograms or higher of marijuana, because that's the most prevalent drug, that people use.
Okay.
If you have 50 nanograms or higher of marijuana, then you're positive. If you have less than 50 nanograms, so you can smoke marijuana, you can use the marijuana gummy bears, you can do all that stuff.
Okay.
As long as whatever you do keeps your levels below the 50 nanograms.
Okay.
I don't know whether, because they have a DOT number for at work. That 50 nanogram is what they call the trigger number when they do your urinalysis.
Okay.
I don't know that they have that same, I don't know what that trigger number is for alcohol.
But what you did say is that it's not slam dunk.
No.
So you can't have some alcohol. That was my point. You said if you had any in you, that you're going to not be covered.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
The reason why I said if you have any in you,
right.
If it registers less than 50 nanogram, it considered there's nothing in you.
Okay.
Because it comes up negative.
Right. But that's marijuana.
That's marijuana.
But we don't know if you have a comparative test for alcohol or not.
I don't know about a comparative test for alcohol.
Okay, I got you.
I guess, now if your job was to drive, then that test would be, what the legal limit is for driving. Or 0 point whatever, 0.8.
I think it's 8. Yeah, I think it's 8 now.
Is whatever that limit is. And what people don't realize, man, that's not a high limit.
It's not a whole lot.
I mean, you can have I think you can have a glass of wine and hit that limit.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, and also too, and that's why your medication will say do not operate heavy machinery while you're taking this particular drug. And I guess that's also to make sure that if something does happen, you would not be considered as having had too much and lose out on your benefits.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, if you have, say for instance, and this is one of the drugs that people get in trouble with because they test for this too. You have Oxycontin or hydrocodone, or some of those things in your system.
Yes,
that will register positive. If you got a prescription for it, it's not an issue.
Unless you operate heavy machinery.
Well, if you operate in heavy machinery, you need to make sure you have told somebody.
That's right.
That's not, now if you got injured and you operate in heavy machinery and you got that prescription and you didn't tell anybody,
right.
I think there may be an issue.
I think it would be too.
But you can get a prescription for marijuana.
in certain.
But marijuana is considered an illegal drug in Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I was about to say, in some states you can get if they have medical marijuana.
Yeah, right across
like Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, you go right across that Arkansas that bridge, and you know, hey man, I got glaucoma. You know, they'll write you up a prescription and you can get marijuana and come on back.
Well, you know what? But some narcotics you can't get over state line. Well,
I don't know. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know, because the Army is big on this.
Right.
Marijuana, it doesn't matter what state is legal in.
Right.
The federal government says marijuana is legal.
That's right. It's legal?
Illegal.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
The federal government says it's illegal.
And that's one of the things that they were hoping that the Democrats would pass while we have a Democratic Congress and a president, that they would pass marijuana to make it legal. It is on the register.
Yeah, here's the problem, and we're going to get back because these are the things that are the pit. I told you there are no pitfalls. These are the pitfalls in workers' comp.
Yes.
Here's the thing, you know, and they're running into this problem in Colorado and some of these other states that have legalized marijuana. What is the legal or the, because alcohol is legal, but if you're test above 0.8
right,
or 0.08, then you are considered driving under the influence of alcohol.
That's exactly right.
They have yet to come up with a test for marijuana.
That's right.
And so what Colorado has is they're stopping people because they smell the marijuana and it's in this high quantity, and then they charge them with driving while impaired or driving under the influence. Because again, that you can't.
But it's legal in Colorado, right?
Okay, you can't drive if you may have a prescription for oxycodone.
Right.
But if you drive and you are erratically driving, and even though you have a prescription for oxycodone and you're driving erratically, you're driving while impaired.
Right.
So you can't get a ticket for that.
Right.
So the same thing applies with marijuana.
Okay, I got you.
The same thing applies with alcohol.
I got you.
The question and the problem they have with marijuana is it stays in your system for a minimum of 30 days. You know, it goes down for each day that it's in your system, and as long as you're not continually a smoke. So they don't have a test.
Right.
So you can get pulled over and you're weaving, they can smell marijuana in your car, and they can give you a ticket for driving while impaired because they
don't have the test.
They don't have a test, but the officer has witnessed you weaving.
Right.
And he smelled the marijuana. Shucks, you probably got the marijuana cigarette in your mouth when he coming to you because it's legal.
Right.
But if you're erratically driving, that's an issue.
And that's why it requires that there be, and I tell people all the time, fault is not determined on the street anyway. Just because you got the ticket doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be found guilty, because it has to have it's a higher standard when you're in court. And so that's why do you advise that they not take the breathalyzer test?
Now, not for workers' comp.
We kind of got off of it when we started talking about driving.
Oh, yeah. If I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you. If you're driving and you're under the influence of alcohol, you're already stupid.
Right.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
You're already stupid. Do not compound stupidity by taking a test.
By agreeing to take the test.
You already, look, if you know you've been drinking,
right,
and the police pulled you over saying they smell alcohol on you,
right,
and if you had more than a beer, you're going to be over the limit.
That's exactly right.
So if they pull you over and you've been drinking, you're already stupid, okay? So don't compound stupid by taking the test. Because if you take the test, they're going to convict you of DUI, driving under the influence. You're going to be convicted of DUI.
Right.
And you're going to lose your license for a year.
Right. Well, you're going to lose your license for a year anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's where I was going with it. You're going to lose your license
anyway for
taking a test
right,
and being deemed under the influence.
That's right.
And so you're going to get a conviction on your record, and a DUI cannot be expunged.
That's right.
So you got a DUI on your record, and you can't drive for a year.
Right.
Here's the difference. If they stop you and you know you've been drinking, I'm not taking no test. Take me to jail.
Yeah.
I'm not taking no test. They have no proof that you were, in fact, under the influence other than what he witnessed.
That's exactly right.
He can't make you do the test.
That's right.
He can't make you breathalyzer and all this other stuff.
That's right.
So now, and if they get a court order to draw your blood, by the time they get to you, it will have dissipated.
That's exactly right.
To a certain level.
That's exactly right.
So I said that to say you're going to lose your license for a year, but you're not going to have a DUI.
That's right.
So what ends up happening is you can always petition a court to get a work driving license.
A restricted license.
A restricted license
That's
that
right.
allows you to drive back and forth to work.
And back and forth to the driving school too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to do that as well.
Yeah. So you can get a license.
That's
for
exactly
that,
right.
and the court will grant you that under certain circumstances.
That's exactly right.
Because if you don't get to work, you're not gonna have your license. But if you've been drinking and driving, I don't care how mad you get, and I'm not gonna be politically correct.
Right.
If you're driving and you're drinking, you stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
So why would you compound stupid by taking a test?
Yes,
So
I
I
agree.
don't agree. I don't think you should take that test.
I agree. You should not.
Yeah,
Right.
and some people, man, I only had 2 beers.
Yeah.
2 beers means 10.
That's right.
That's what it means. 2 beers mean DUI.
That's exactly right.
So you're not going to get away, and you're not going to talk your way around.
And there's a mandatory 48 hours with your first offense too.
In Tennessee, is it 48 or 24 the first offense?
I haven't done one in so long, but let's just say this. There will be a mandatory jail time involved.
It's going to be a mandatory.
Because I haven't done one in such a long time.
I have not either.
So
I have not either.
Right.
But again, but that's always the issue. And if you have a problem, that's a whole other issue, and maybe you need to get help.
That's right.
But, driving and drinking, you've already been stupid. So don't compound stupid by taking a test.
I agree. We kind of got off a little bit, but I agree there.
But the reason why we got off of
Yeah.
it, because, look, that alcohol and drugs is the landmine, is the death sentence to workers' compensation.
No question about it.
I mean, can you, is there some level on alcohol that if you have less than that you'll be okay? I don't know the answer to that. But again, if you're drinking and you're at work, you're already stupid. Why would you compound stupidity, by being at work?
I agree.
If you got to have a drink and you at work, I'm gonna get me a drink. I'm gonna mark out sick. I'm going home.
But you know what? Now that we're talking about it, but you could even be at the office party there.
Yeah.
And be entitled to workers' compensation.
I don't know it because that's not in the scope and course of your. There's cases out there that people haven't gotten it.
Yeah, because you are still with the employer expects you to be there.
Well, that's where it comes in. If you can establish that you're required to be there.
That's right.
And then I think if the company, and that's the reason why if you're a company, you need to be careful of the kind of parties you have.
Right.
Because then if you also giving liquor and you condoning liquor, you may be setting yourself up for responsibility.
Don't take away there because the holidays are about to come. we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, and all these holidays coming up, and we always have an office party.
Yeah.
But you discourage your clients from doing it, huh?
Well, here's what I'm saying. I don't discourage you from having an office party.
Right.
I discourage you from having alcohol
at the office party. Yeah.
And if your office party is not office, and the office getting sued is not going to be covered under workers' compensation. So there is this next level. I mean, there's a case called the law used to call it's called
dram shop.
Yeah, dram shop. I mean, applies to bar.
But that's a bar. That's not my party, is it?
It's a bar. But again, I can make you vicariously liable for the conduct of your employee.
I'm certainly going to file that lawsuit.
I'm going to file that lawsuit, and
But all you got to do maybe is file a motion, file a summary judgment motion. Probably can get dismissed from that though, Darrell. What you think?
Those are issue of facts though, Joe.
Right, I agree.
Because the motion for summary judgment always turns on facts.
What the facts are.
And, you know, the fact is you had an office party. The fact is you provided
Served alcohol
at your office party.
Right.
The fact is the person that killed these people were at your office party. You let them go. Hey, man, take your keys and drive down there. You might as well be saying, take your keys and go kill somebody.
Go kill somebody.
I mean,
I can see how that could possibly be a problem. So, I agree, and that's what we do. It's called risk management.
Right.
So, why take the risk?
Yeah.
Is it that important that you have this particular outing or not?
Well, I mean, again, why?
Yeah.
I mean, and, you know, again,
Well, it's been a tough year, Darrell. We've been down all year, and all of a sudden, now that the pandemic is easing, employees are finally getting a chance to come out and socialize with one another. I mean, that's a good reason to have a party, isn't it?
It's an absolute reason to have a party. But again, monitor how that party looks.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if I have a party, look. I mean,
drink minimum for everybody, maybe.
Well,
the bar.
here's the thing. I'm not supplying liquor.
Okay, I got you.
I'm just not. Number one, I don't drink.
Right.
So I'm not going to pay for your habit.
Right.
I'm going to do something for you that I don't do.
Right. I got you.
Why would that even make sense?
Right.
You know, and you know, again, we'll get up into that man up kind of conversation.
Right.
You know? And man, it's maybe not conducive, not smart. But if you're a business, you have to look at how you run your business.
Always.
And you have to look how much liability you want your business to have. You know, I mean, man, I can't imagine that, Jerome.
And there, it just came to the word I was looking for, was strict liability.
Oh, strict liability.
That's the word I was looking for when you said strict liability. If you had any alcohol in your system, it's strict liability that you may not be able to recover in a workers' compensation claim.
Yeah, I don't know. Strict liability is really tough.
Yeah.
I think that the alcohol, there may be some exceptions.
Okay, I got you.
And I don't even, my understanding, the way I understood it is, if you have alcohol in your system, they gave them grounds to deny workers' comp.
Okay.
I've not had a case where there's been a question on the amount.
Okay.
Because the employer doesn't sanction you having alcohol at work.
So everyone that you've seen like that has been a loser, huh?
They've been a loser.
No question about it.
No question about it.
Okay, that's good enough.
And there's been some cases, man, I'm going to tell you, there's been some cases that have been rough.
Heart-wrenching.
All right, well, we got to go.
Yeah, Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie, come and give me that look, so it's that time. Look, I know we didn't answer any questions. I'll look at the Facebook and see if there was any questions out there.
I certainly hope so, Darrell.
And we'll finish this workers' comp, and then we'll move to another subject. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you back next week.
All right, y'all. Talk to me.
Well, Darrell, I thought that was a really good show, man, because people need to know that that there are some protections on the job
I think so.
that are far-reaching versus a personal injury case. Because you got all of these different traps that somebody can say. Like we talked about, assumption of the risk is one. Another one is, what is
notice.
it?
It's the notice.
Yeah, and comparative fault.
Comparative fault.
All those things, you don't have to deal with none of that in a workers' comp case.
Yeah. And the other thing that, and this is what always happens when people come to my office. They have a workers' comp, and it's annoying to me because they've already gone to a lawyer to take their workers' comp, but that lawyer has told them that they don't have a personal injury case. So they come to me and they say, hey, I was injured on the job and I want to sue them for personal injury. You can't. Right. The law is crystal clear. You have one remedy when the employer is at fault, and that is workers' comp. Now, I'm glad you said that. But it also may be that there's another third party involved that you could possibly sue the third party. Yeah, that's different. That's different. The employer is still protected, but the contractor who was driving the truck that caused your accident, they're not restricted. Yeah, but the problem always with that is workers' comp is going to be unfettered. I mean, you're going to get all these benefits unfettered. Right. But the way that personal injury,
Ah,
You have to.
You got to.
Attorney Darrell O'Neill
right,
and
we
the
good?
special
Thank you,
guest
Miss Debbie.
host, Attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk
Really?
on your digital device, on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Thank you.
Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook
we'll get to see how
Live,
many-
6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question, our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with Attorney Darrell O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
You keep saying it, huh, on YouTube.
Your sister said, "Hi, big brother."
Oh, okay.
Somebody else said that they wanted to talk about VA claims, but they didn't have $100 consultation. Why did you put that on Facebook?
Yeah, that's.
They're charging $100.
I do. Somebody did try to come out and do that.
So he want $100. I said, are you telling me your case ain't worth $100? Because you're going to take it off of the fee, don't you, Darrell? I mean, that's ridiculous. I need your help, man. I got something I need your help on. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what they That is exactly right.
there.
Yeah.
They don't value our time whatsoever.
Nah.
Look, they don't see us doing nothing.
Nah.
You just sitting there thinking. Yeah.
I'm doing some new stuff, y'all.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's gonna take us somewhere. I got this one show where they're singing, and I'm still editing on it, but it's good. It's good. It's everything. So I'm gonna try to send it to Bravo and some other places.
Okay. I hear you.
I think we're going somewhere, y'all.
I hear you, girl.
I mean, we're somewhere now.
All right.
People all over the world is watching
All
us.
right.
They love y'all. Yeah. But yeah, I got y'all's shows on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
The one from last week is on YouTube, and a few of the other ones.
Okay.
I just started, loading more on YouTube.
Don't get your feet up. No. I can't drive up now. No, you be out there. Come on, come back. That's all right. We like secrets there anyway.
Yeah, I was in there selling a dress to one of the guests. He just bought a dress.
All right. Look at you, girl. Multitasking us, huh?
It's the Lord's doing, you hear me? And it's just marvelous
I hear you.
with all these crazy people around here. Coming in for left and right. Johnny! Come on down. All right, Darrell. All right, take care. All right, you too. Hold up, sweetheart, I got George! What? I didn't write down the mic, but no, I have. I'll write them down and then just That's fine. We're gonna put all of her on. No, this right here needs to stay over here. He's flopping down this chair table. Turn it the other way, George. I think that lets them know that they can't sit it.
Side, mine. Just put the chair over here. Mine. You always have to start some trouble, don't you? Are you okay, dear? You know we can't have
So, you only need one chair, right?
two of she gonna sit over here.
That's the problem. No, what's your son?
Sherry, have we